The Nintendo Switch Eshop is chock full of games on sale. There's over 500 in fact at any one time. But which titles are worth picking up in this sea of games? I'm James Romero here at SwitchWatch, and every Sunday I help you to cut through the noise and find the best deals, the bargains that are worth your hard-earned cash. Let's jump in and take a look at these deals. Kicking things off this weekend, it's a bit of a surprise. I have Cook Serve Delicious 2 as my pick. It's a surprisingly tasty treat. Whilst it has some similarities to Overcooked 2, a game that I also love, this is still quite different. For one, you are not focused on running between stations, but instead have to manage your prep, custom orders, cleaning, and cooking all in the central spot. The campaign mode is surprisingly deep with over 200 recipes and 30 restaurants to manage, as well as the ability to start your own place and pick what dishes to serve. There's also local couch co-op which you can dip into and out of during the campaign at any time. This really is a fantastic bargain at this price. With a satisfying 90% off, this will cost you less than a lunchtime snack. Jordan, what's your pick this week?
Hey everyone, Jordan here with my pick of the week. This week I'm going for a Square Enix special. They're offering the Collection of Mana for 50% off around the globe. It's at its all-time lowest price, just $17.50 in the UK, $20 in the US, and in euros in the EU. What we have here are 3 classic games. One of the best Game Boy games ever made, and 2 of the best Super Nintendo games ever made. One of which only just got an English translation after 25 years. You're getting tons of content here for the price, maybe around 70 hours worth in total, which is insane. And all of the games still play well to this day, at least in my opinion. I think this is a great price if you're into retro goodness.
That's a great pick there, Jordan. Up next, we have Grip. In this one, you race all-terrain vehicles that can drive on pretty much any surface and shoot weapons at others in high-speed races. If you remember Wipeout and Roll Cage, then you will be familiar with this concept. And indeed, it is definitely inspired by Roll Cage in particular. There are a fair few tracks, a campaign without any story, 11 different difficulty settings, and various cars to unlock. There are also a bunch of modes to enjoy as well. The controls are very sensitive, and some of the tracks are quite linear, lending themselves to carnage. There's nothing particularly new here, nor is it the best racer out there, but it's just fun and thrilling to battle it out in races. GoNNER is a roguelike platformer where you will die a lot. What I love about this one is its art, audio, and funky style. As for the gameplay, it's a blast as well. This one is tough, and as a roguelike, each time you play it's different, so there's no memorizing your way through. There's some permanent progression in the form of accessories that will augment your character, and picking a different loadout will shift how you play. Overall, it's a very solid platformer at a really great price right now. Next up, it's the fantastic Double Cross. This one is an action-adventure platformer that feels like Mega Man with a little Sonic thrown in. It takes place at Rift headquarters, an interdimensional police force. Think Men in Black. The story is one big whodunit full of bonkers aliens from different galaxies, including my favourite, a bodybuilder Brussels sprout dude. Yes, it's the muscles from Brussels. You play as Zara Sinclair, and controlling her is nice and tight. She jumps around using a nifty proton slinger, and I love that this game is set across 3 worlds. Each feels unique, and the look and sound is spot on throughout.
The entire organization in her quest to catch this elusive suspect.
This is not the first time it's come up, but Cat Quest is a boiled down and simple RPG. Is it perfect? No, but it's interesting, simple, and looks great. This is a vanilla experience, a casual game without the bogging down that you get with many RPGs. If you are after a chilled RPG, you can't go far wrong with this one. And actually what I've found is that a lot of people who are not mad on the genre still tend to gravitate towards this one and enjoy it. So give it a go. Juan loved Ghostbusters on Switch when he reviewed it, which you could check out by clicking at the top right hand side. Here we have a very authentic experience. If you love the movies, then this has the voices and in-game likenesses of Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, and Ernie Hudson in an original story. None of that would matter if the gameplay sucked, and thankfully it does not disappoint. Catching ghosts has never been so fun with upgradable weapons and destructible environments. We loved it, and we're sure you will too. This is the deepest discount we are yet to see on this one. It's a game movie tie-in done well, and how often can you say that? The BLAZBLUE series of 2D fighters is rightly regarded as a beast. Competitive and intricate fighting gameplay shines here in this port, which has been done really well, and it packs lots of modes, a fully fleshed story and a healthy roster of characters that is much better than the watered down cross-tag battle in my personal opinion. Give this one a go if you're after that sort of action. The SteamWorld series has a wonderful steampunk vibe, and this time it's back in the form of a turn-based strategy game featuring a brilliant soundtrack recorded by steam-powered giraffe and gorgeous visuals. You and your team of robots roam the galaxy in a space adventure. The gameplay is deep and rewarding, with an excellent aiming mechanic and lots of combos, cover and strategic decisions to be made. There are countless hours of tactical fun to be had. I still pick this one up every now and then. This is perfect either on a TV or in handheld mode, and with 75% off, this is an epic bargain. One that all fans of the strategy genre should consider picking up. And speaking of strategy games, next up we have another great one. Valkyria Chronicles 4 is superb. It's a game that is a delight to play and different from other SRPG series out there. This is a story-driven affair, more so than most, and it takes place in an alternate reality during World War II. The narrative is at its heart, and it plays out like an anime based on European history in between the game's sprawling, large mapped battles. In battles where things really do heat up, the game combines turn-based tactics style gameplay using a resource called command points. Once you issue a character with orders, however, you switch to a third-person shooter view. That sounds odd on paper, but works brilliantly in practice. As you move, you generally only have one attack, and if you get too close, enemies will fire back. The game is large, and there are more classes than the original PS3 title that this is based on. For those who want to try something a bit different, give this a go. You won't be disappointed. Hyperjam is one of those little multiplayer gems that we reviewed and had a bunch of hours playing together online, laughing and smashing each other to pieces. The graphics are surprisingly pleasant, and the various levelling up choices between rounds are great at balancing out play, favouring the losers as they get to pick first from a number of perks. The controls are tight, and the various weapons are awesome, from a katana to gigantic hammer, bow and arrow, and lots of big bad guns. More maps and characters would have been welcome, but if you have a few mates that you can get together online, then this is a blast. We had the pleasure of reviewing Alder's Blood, and our title sums it up nicely. XCOM meets Darkest Dungeon. Now, this one went on sale a little while ago, and it was only 20, I think, or 30%, but now it has 50% off. This is a brilliant game that's not been out for too long and certainly offers a dark and engrossing tale, solid gameplay, and a brilliant style. It's not one to miss if you enjoy either of those titles.
You and I aren't exactly human. We are hunters. You can call me Duke.
The King's Bird is a platformer with a focus on precision, accuracy and pace, which are all needed to succeed. There are some nice mechanics. You have the ability to glide and wall jump, and will need to time them just right in order to succeed. The visuals are really nice, and the soundtrack is decent too. It's a crowded genre. At the original price point, it is tough to recommend it over some of those other titles, but with a healthy 75% off, it really is worth dipping into if you fancy a tricky platformer with some different mechanics. If, like me, you have fond memories of Theme Hospital, then you are really going to like 2 Point Hospital. The wacky diseases and implausible cures are hilarious, and the gameplay is no slouch. I like the quirky rubber band visuals, and 40% off brings the price down to a much, much better level. You'll have fun playing this one, and that ultimately is what it's all about.
That's not the only decorating.
RICO is a pick-up-and-play corridor shooter with inspiration from Payday and Borderlands. It has that real arcade feel to it, and it's all about clearing a room and moving on to the next. Each room is randomly generated, so you'll never quite face the same thing twice. That said, the gameplay falls into a nice rhythm and is enjoyable in co-op as well. The game looks quite nice, but it's nothing that is gonna knock your socks off. It's not the most polished, but for sheer simple shooting pleasure, you can't look past this one. Mega Man 11 is platforming at its absolute best. Fantastic controls and a classic layout where you can tackle 8 tough levels, each guarded by a robot master at the end. They ditched the attempts of Mega Man X to make the story center stage and instead returned to what we love about Mega Man: frantic, fast-paced action and risk around every corner. 50% off makes this a steal. And there you have it, folks. A bunch of eShop games on sale worth looking at. What's your pick this week? Let us know down below. I hope you're having a great week. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out with us. And we will see you again on the next one. Until then, take care.